Modern sleds are faster than the classics. Say that on any forum and watch the death threats roll in. But I'm saying it anyway, because I've ridden both eras, and the truth matters more than nostalgia. By the end of this video, you're either going to unfollow me or secretly agree with me. Today I'm breaking down the world's most powerful and savage snowmobiles. Not the prettiest, not the most comfortable, the ones that made legends bleed. 5 forgotten machines that proved everyone wrong. Then 5 modern monsters that'll make you question everything. And if you stick around, you'll find out which sled got banned from racing for being too fast. Let's go. Number 1, the John Deere Liquefier 440, the underpowered underdog that embarrassed giants. Most people forget John Deere even made snowmobiles. The muscle guys? They laughed at them. 440 cubic centimeters Kawasaki twin. Liquid cooled, about 65 horsepower. Meanwhile, Polaris and Arctic Cat are running 150 cubic centimeter, bigger motors with 30 more horsepower. Early 1980s cross-country racing scene. Everyone's chasing displacement. Bigger is better. More cubes, more wins. John Deere shows up to the line with their little green 440. Guys laughed until the Liquefier started winning. Here's what nobody saw coming. Deere's engineers couldn't outgun the competition, so they went underneath instead. Low-slung chassis, weight distribution that kept the skis planted, forward-mounted engine, computer-designed suspension when everyone else was guessing. That Kawasaki twin screaming at 8,000 RPM didn't sound powerful. It sounded angry. Top speed, only 80 miles per hour. Pathetic on paper. But here's the twist. Cross-country courses aren't drag strips. Tight turns, moguls, tree sections where handling beats horsepower every time. The Liquefier ate sleds with 100+ horses for breakfast. If you were around in the early 80s, you remember these winning. John Deere had already proven themselves. Brian Nelson's 1976 I-500 victory on the earlier Liquidator showed what their engineering could do. The Liquefier carried that same DNA into the 80s. That legacy sits in the Snowmobile Hall of Fame. Most guys with bigger motors never came close. The aftermarket figured it out quick. Swap Invader heads for an extra 5 horsepower. Guys were running modified Liquefiers to 10,000+ miles. Still going strong. Ask anyone who raced one. They'll tell you, power wins on lakes, handling wins on courses. And here's what nobody talks about. By 1984, Deere pulled out of snowmobiles entirely. Market crashed. They sold everything to Polaris and walked away. But if you owned a Liquefier, you earned respect. Because you proved horsepower isn't everything. And that lesson, Yamaha took it to the extreme. Number 2, the Yamaha VMAX 4, the 4-cylinder freak that got outlawed from racing. Dealer shows. Yamaha unveils something nobody expected, a production snowmobile with a 743 cubic centimeter inline 4-cylinder 2-stroke motor. The room went silent. People thought it was a prototype, a showpiece. No way they'd actually sell this thing. They were wrong. The VMAX 4 made 115 to 120 horsepower in 750 cubic centimeter form. Later 800 cubic centimeter versions pushed 150 horsepower. But here's what separated it from everything else. That inline 4 didn't hit in bursts. It pulled like a turbine from 3,000 RPM all the way to 8,250. You know that feeling when the power just doesn't stop? That was the VMAX 4. American Snowmobiler named it Sled of the Year 1992. Polaris and Arctic Cat didn't take that lightly. The VMAX 4 was heavy, 614 pounds. You felt every ounce trying to whip it sideways. But on open trails, on frozen lakes, nothing was more stable at triple-digit speeds. The sound was what made you a believer. 4 cylinders screaming together didn't sound like anything else on snow. If you owned one, you know that feeling at 8,000 RPM. That vibration, that mechanical violence. Pure, addictive, Yamaha. Now here's the part that proves this sled was too good. Tim Bender took these to Formula 3 oval racing in 1994 to 1995. Started winning, then kept winning. By the 1996 season, The International Series of Champions, the governing body for oval racing, had a problem. VMAX 4S were dominating, consistent, reliable, fast. So they rewrote Rule 3.2.4, maximum displacement capped at 600 cubic centimeters for Formula 3 class, effective immediately. Let me be clear, they didn't ban the VMAX 4 by name. They changed the rules to make it illegal. When you're too good, they don't celebrate you. They eliminate the category you compete in. Forum guys still build turbo VMAX 4s pushing 200 plus horsepower. Some have hit 162 miles per hour on ice. The VMAX 4 ran from 1992 to 1997. Final year models were the refined versions. Better porting, higher compression, smoother everywhere. Ask anyone who raced one. This was Yamaha's answer to everyone saying 4 strokes were the future. Oh yeah, watch this. Values haven't dropped. Clean examples sell for serious money because riders who had them refuse to let go of the memory. But you want brutal proof that displacement doesn't always win? Number 3, the Arctic Cat F7 Firecat, the 700 that humiliated 800s. Arctic Cat introduces the Firecat line. 698 cubic centimeters Suzuki-built twin, EFI, APV exhaust valves, 140 horsepower. Polaris had 800s. Ski-Doo had 800s. Everyone assumed bigger was automatically better. Arctic Cat said, "Hold my beer." The F7 weighed 460 pounds. Light, aggressive, built like a race sled that got street-legal paperwork. That power-to-weight ratio was absurd. Pin the throttle and the F7 didn't just accelerate, it tried to flip backwards. Skis in the air, front end light, your heart in your throat. Trail guys started racing F7s against 800s and 900s. And winning. Let me say that again. A 700 was beating 800s in heads-up races. The 800 guys couldn't believe it. Must be modded, must be cheating. Bone stock, just lighter, just smarter. Top speed was 105 miles per hour on GPS. Not the highest number, but getting there? Violent. The narrow track made it a ditch-banging weapon. Deep snow? Not ideal. Trails and lakes? Absolute missile. That APV system adjusted exhaust porting based on RPM. Low end stayed smooth. Top end screamed like it was possessed. If you owned an F7, you remember that exact moment. Around 7,000 RPM when the power band kicked in and reality got blurry. Riders on forums still say it's the most fun they've ever had. Not the fastest, not the most comfortable, the most fun. Speedworks offered 800cc big bore kits pushing 160 plus horsepower. Guys were building F7s that embarrassed modern sleds. Early models had the chain case. Later models switched to diamond drive. Forum wars still rage about which was better. Arctic Cat made Firecats through 2006. Snow Pro versions were the hot ticket. Stiffer suspension, sport clutching, race DNA. Here's what people don't talk about. The F7 forced everyone else to reconsider what enough power actually meant. You either loved the F7 or you never rode one hard enough. But if you thought David versus Goliath stories were impressive, number 4 brought working class pride. Number 4, the Polaris Indy Storm 800, the working class muscle sled that refused to die. The muscle sled wars are in full swing. Arctic Cat has the Thundercat. Ski-Doo has the Max Z. Yamaha just dropped the VMAX 4. Polaris shows up with the Indy Storm, 744 cubic centimeters, Fuji-built triple, 137 horsepower. First production Polaris with 3 tuned pipes from the factory. That sound alone made your neighbors call the cops. 3 pipes screaming at 8,000 RPM didn't sound fast. It sounded illegal. But the Storm had a problem, over 600 pounds. Heavy, really heavy. The competition laughed. Too slow, too heavy, can't compete. Storm owners didn't care. Because when you pinned that throttle, the Storm pulled like a freight train that was personally offended. The power wasn't violent like a Mach Z. It was relentless, building, surging, never stopping. Early years, 93 to 94, had crank problems. Guys learned quick. Avoid those years. 1996 to 1997, Those were the golden years. 146 to 147 horsepower, nickel cylinders, better reliability. Storm owners will tell you stories about beating these sleds mercilessly for years. No failures, no drama, just work. If you were around in the mid-90s, you remember the Storm guy. Blue collar, serious, didn't talk much. Just showed up, rode hard, went home. Did it win every race? Hell no. But it finished every single time. Top speed was 115 to 120 miles per hour depending on setup. Not class leading, but respectable. The aftermarket loved them. V-force reeds, pipes, clutch kits. You could wake a Storm up quick. Trail riders swore by them. The suspension soaked up nasty trails better than lighter sleds. The weight became an advantage in rough stuff. Lake racers, mixed bag, weight hurt acceleration, but once rolling, the Storm held its own. Polaris kept refining through 1997. Each year got incrementally better. And here's what the Thundercat and Mach Z guys didn't understand. Storm owners didn't need to win. They needed reliability. They needed value. They needed a sled that showed up every weekend without drama. The Storm delivered. If you owned one, you remember that pride. You weren't the fastest, but you were always there. Ask anyone who raced Storms. These were the sleds that made heroes out of working guys. And speaking of working class heroes, number 5 had the sweetest sound. Number 5, the Polaris Indy 650 Triple, the mid-range sleeper that sang. Early 90s. The performance market is obsessed with 700s, 800s. Displacement wars. Polaris builds a 648 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled triple making 95 to 110 horsepower. Not the most power, not the lightest, not the fastest. Industry insiders called it the forgotten triple. They were idiots, because anyone who actually rode a 650 triple knew something the spec sheet guys didn't. Triples just sound better. That 650 screaming at 9,000 plus RPM wasn't just noise. 3 cylinders firing in perfect sequence. Mechanical music. The wedge chassis was light, simple, reliable. The kind of sled you could beat on all day without paranoia. If you were around in the early 90s, these were everywhere. Trail riders, lake runners, guys who wanted fun without bankruptcy. The 1992 02 motor made 108 horsepower, carbed, simple, with aftermarket pipes and clutching. 130 horsepower. That's serious for a 650. Pro 5 Racing in Roseau sold t-shirts that said, 3 in a row make them go, and 3 of a kind beat a pair all the time. That was 650 owner culture. Pure, unapologetic, fun. The RXL version came with EFI. Most guys hated it, preferred carbs, more predictable, less fuss. Handling was nimble for a wedge. You could throw it into corners without wrestling. If this is bringing back memories, tap that like button. Small channel, every like matters. The 650 Triple wasn't trying to be the king. It was trying to be the sled you wanted to ride. Every single day, mission accomplished. Guys still race these in vintage classes. For the sound, for the reliability, for the simplicity of a well-built triple that just works. You either get it or you don't. If you rode one, you know. All right, enough nostalgia. Let's talk about the present. Because the machines available now aren't just incremental improvements. They're a complete evolution. More power, better handling, technology that makes the 90s look primitive. I've ridden most of these. Some I own, some I dream about. And I'm telling you, these 5 are the modern savages. Number 6, the 2025 to 2026 Ski-Doo Renegade XRS 900 AC Turbo R. The 4-stroke that defies physics. Ski-Doo claims 180 horsepower. Riders at Snowshoot said this thing feels like 210 plus. 899 cubic centimeters turbocharged 4-stroke inline 3 that rewrites what trail sleds can do. Here's what they don't tell you. This sled can almost lift the front skis on flat ground. Let me say that again. Flat ground. No hill, just torque. That's backcountry sled territory, not full-fairing trail weapons. The 2026 model gets RS/RX front suspension, 18% reduction in body roll. Combine that with smart shocks and you've got a 540-pound sled that corners like it weighs 400. The sound is different, not a two-stroke scream, more like a sport bike mixed with a spooling turbo. At first, purists hated it. Then they wrote it. Now they're writing checks. That turbo torque is relentless. Pin it at 3,000 RPM, and it just pulls and pulls and keeps pulling until you run out of lake or courage. Top speed? North of 120 miles per hour, in comfort, with stability that feels illegal. But wait, does four-stroke mean boring? Ask the guys who thought the same thing. Then rode one. Trail riders who dismiss four strokes? The Renegade XRS changed their religion. One ride, that's all it takes. If you want modern performance with reliability, this is your weapon. But if you want lightweight two-stroke fury, number 7 brings the violence. Number 7, the Arctic Cat Riot 8000, the two-stroke that proves nothing died. Arctic Cat built the Riot for one reason: remind everyone why two strokes still matter. 794 cubic centimeters C-Tech, 2-twin, 165 horsepower, instant, violent, unapologetic. No turbo lag, no four-stroke buildup, just pure, immediate two-stroke snap the moment you breathe on the throttle. The chassis is light, stupid light. Combined with that power, the Riot feels like it's made of anger. Cornering is where legends get made. The front end bites, the rear tracks perfectly. You can rail corners at speeds that feel like cheating physics. The sound brings grown men to tears. That two-stroke scream at 8,000 RPM is a nostalgia with modern performance. If you rode sleds in the 90s, the Riot is your time machine. All the character, none of the drama. Trail assassins obsess over these. It's the sled that makes average riders feel like heroes. For riders who refuse to let two strokes die, the Riot 8000 is your battle cry. But what if elevation was killing your power? That's where number 8 rewrote the rules. Number 8, the Polaris Boost 850, the sled that made altitude irrelevant. Polaris finally enters the factory turbo game. 20 years late, but they showed up swinging. 850 cubic centimeters turbocharged Patriot twin, 165 plus horsepower at any elevation, sea level or 12,000 feet. Same pull, same violence. Mountain riders lost their minds. For decades, they dealt with power loss at altitude. Adjust clutching, pray for oxygen, hope for the best. The Boost said, altitude, never heard of her. That turbo maintains boost pressure regardless of elevation. Consistent power delivery everywhere. Technical climbing became effortless. Lines that were impossible on naturally aspirated sleds, easy on the Boost. Crossover guys love them too. The versatility is unmatched. Throttle response is surgical. Turbo spools quick. No lag. Just building fury. For riders who value consistency over peak numbers, the Boost 850 is your tool. But if you want race-level aggression, number 9 demands blood. Number 9, the 2025 to 2026 Ski-Doo MXZ XRS 900 Ace Turbo R, the sled that demands sacrifice. Same motor as the Renegade, same 180 plus horsepower, completely different sole, shorter track, aggressive chassis, race geometry. Riders call it the chainsaw. Where the Renegade is a torque monster, the MXZ is a precision scalpel. It demands to be ridden hard. Cruise it? You're insulting it. Baby it? It judges you. Pin it? Now we're talking. Cornering is surgical. Late break into turns, and the MXZ just handles it without complaint. Launch control makes it pop and crackle like a race car. Even sitting still, it feels dangerous. This isn't a beginner's sled. It requires skill, confidence, commitment. For trail assassins who live for aggressive riding, this is your weapon. But if you want the ultimate, number 10 is the final boss. Number 10, the Yamaha Sidewinder LTX GT, the 200 horsepower king that does everything. Let me be clear about something. Every sled I've mentioned so far has compromises. The Renegade is heavy, the Riot is harsh on long rides, the Boost is focused on mountains, the MXZ punishes lazy riding, the Sidewinder LTX GT, it has zero compromises. 998 cubic centimeters Genesis turbocharged 4-stroke, 200 horsepower, not claimed horsepower, not feels like horsepower. Dyno verified, 200, honest, horsepower. Yamaha doesn't sandbag. When they say 200, they mean it. The LTX GT is the luxury model. Fox QS 3R shocks, heated seat, every comfort feature. But make no mistake, this thing is fast. That 4-stroke torque is criminal. Pin it and the Sidewinder just accelerates forever. No power band, no waiting, just relentless, building, unstoppable thrust. Top speed, north of 125 miles per hour, in complete comfort. You can ride 200 miles without fatigue, then blast a lake at triple digits. The reliability is 4-stroke reliability, 5,000 plus miles without drama. Fuel economy is almost reasonable. You can ride all day without constant stops. Here's what separates the Sidewinder from everything else. It's the only sled that can do trail runs, lake blasts, and long-distance touring at championship level. Want to commute 100 miles? Perfect. Want to race your buddy's Riot? You'll win. Want comfort? It's got more features than some cars. This is the sled that made me realize modern engineering has surpassed the legends. The VMAX 4 was special. The F7 was magic. But the Sidewinder LTX GT is complete domination. If money isn't the question and you want the absolute best snowmobile on earth right now, this is your answer. So here's the truth. There's no single king. Your choice depends on what you value. Want nostalgia? Build a clean liquefier or 650 triple. Smell that premix. Hear that sound. Want modern 4-stroke dominance? Renegade XRS or Sidewinder will destroy anything. Want 2-stroke fury? Riot 8000 is your religion. Want altitude freedom? Boost 850. I've been riding for over 3 decades. Crashed more than I admit. Rebuilt motors at 2 a.m. The machines available now are legitimately savage. But I need your story. What sled made you feel invincible? Mine was a 95 VMAX 4800. Bought it with 800 miles. Sold it with 8,200. That 4-cylinder scream is burned into my soul. Drop your sled in the comments. Year, miles, crashes. And if you want more honest breakdowns, hit subscribe. It helps me make better content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.